While digging around an ancient oak in their backyard to help his dad, 10-year-old Alex unearthed a strange metallic object. Covered in earth and oddly warm to the touch, the object was engraved with symbols neither Alex nor his father and mother recognized. Intrigued, they decided to take it to the local museum for a closer examination. Upon seeing the artifact, the historians at the museum turned pale, immediately recognizing its significance and potential danger. The morning Alex and his dad began tackling their unruly garden, Anne, his mother, watched from the kitchen window. She noticed how Alex seemed drawn to a particular area by the old oak tree. He quickly discarded weeds and dug, as if pulled by an unseen force. His father, caught up in clearing the brambles, hardly noticed. Anne felt an anxious knot tighten, sensing something significant awaited discovery. Before long, Alex's persistent digging paid off. Anne saw him pause, a look of surprise crossing his face as his hands unearthed a metallic object shimmering in the sunlight. "Mom! Dad!" he called, holding it up. His father joined him, brushing aside soil, revealing more of the object. Anne hurried outside, curiosity battling with a growing sense of unease as they examined what lay nestled in their hands. The object they discovered seemed alien. Unfamiliar symbols covered its surface, and it radiated an unnatural warmth that puzzled the family. Anne turned it over in her hands, trying to decipher the engravings, while Alex's father squinted at it skeptically. "What do you think it means?" Alex asked excitedly. But neither parent had an answer, prompting them to consider seeking help to unlock the secrets hidden in its metallic frame. As they discussed their newfound discovery, Anne felt a mix of curiosity and trepidation. The object's strange warmth made her uneasy, yet she couldn't deny its allure. "Maybe we should consult someone," she suggested cautiously. Alex's father nodded in agreement, still examining the piece. Even Alex seemed both thrilled and unsure. Together, they decided on a course of action, their imaginations running wild with endless possibilities. Back inside, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the air around them had shifted. Anne sensed it too, though she couldn't quite pinpoint why. The backyard, once ordinary, now felt full of secrets waiting to be unearthed. Alex ventured a question. "Do you think there are more hidden things out there?" Anne hesitated before responding. "Let's first find out about this one." The weight of the unknown settled over them. Determined to learn more, the family decided to visit the local museum. Anne carefully wrapped the object, feeling its warmth seep through the cloth in her hands. Alex, buzzing with excitement, speculated about its origins. His father remained practical, focusing on the road as they made their way across town. Anne imagined the kind of knowledge and insights they might gather, hoping the answers would reveal more than they feared. Entering the museum, the family felt a mix of anticipation and reverence. Anne held the object close, noticing its weight felt different under the museum lights. As they made their way through the entryway, Alex's eyes widened at the sight of towering exhibits. His father looked around, trying to spot an expert. In that moment, the museum seemed like a gateway into the world of history, holding secrets uncovered and untold. The head curator, a keen-eyed woman with a discerning gaze, was immediately intrigued by their artifact. Anne watched as the curator traced its surface with careful fingers, whispering about its unique properties. "I can't say much now, but I'll consult with our team of historians," she assured them with a nod. Anne felt a spark of hope, trusting they'd soon learn more about its mysterious origins and their unintended role in its story. As the family waited for more information, they wandered the museum's vast corridors. Anne noticed how the exhibits seemed to dwarf their small group, each display telling a story centuries older than them. Alex marveled at the ancient artifacts that shared space with his find. His father, though quiet, seemed equally absorbed in their surroundings. Anne realized they were amidst a tapestry of history, each piece significant and cherished, and silently wished for the same destiny for Alex's discovery. As they waited, Anne glanced around the room, absorbing the lingering curiosity mixed with growing apprehension. Alex, unable to sit still, tapped his foot nervously. His father was deep in thought, occasionally exchanging a few hushed words with Anne. The anticipation in the room was palpable, each passing minute amplifying the weight of the mystery they unwittingly stumbled upon. Anne's mind wandered, grappling with the potential implications of their discovery. Just as Anne began to wonder how much longer they'd wait, the curator returned, her expression visibly perturbed. Her voice, urgent yet controlled, invited them to a private meeting. Anne felt a chill run down her spine as they followed the curator through winding corridors to an unassuming room. Whatever lay behind the closed door was important. Anne sensed the moment might forever alter their understanding of the artifact and its significance. Seated among dusty tomes and ancient sculptures, Anne watched the historian with keen interest. His demeanor shifted as he began to speak, a blend of excitement and caution coloring his words. Anne felt her curiosity blend with a cautious thrill as he gestured toward their discovery and explained its ceremonial resemblance. The historian's passion was contagious, his voice painting vivid pictures of long-lost traditions and stirring a deeper intrigue about the artifact. Anne listened intently as the historian delved into the past, describing ancient rituals once tied to objects like theirs. His words transported her back centuries, detailing traditions steeped in mystery and reverence. Anne exchanged a quick glance with her husband, aware that the stakes were growing. As the historian spoke, he revealed layers of a culture lost to time, connecting the artifact to practices and beliefs that seemed almost otherworldly to Anne. Anne found herself gripping her husband's hand as the historian detailed the artifact's cultural importance. The history, he revealed, was rich with meaning. Anne's thoughts shifted to Alex, recognizing the weight of the narrative he now inhabited. She watched Alex, his eyes wide with intrigue, as the historian described the object's role in ceremonies with both reverence and gravity. The narrative filled the room, grounding them in the reality of their unexpected involvement in history. The room seemed charged with the potential implications of the artifact's discovery. Anne felt the weight of history settling around them, tangible in the way the historian's narrative carried unspoken promises. She glanced at Alex. The artifact had become more than a curiosity. It held power, an allure that pulled them closer to uncovering hidden truths. The air was alive with unvoiced possibilities, leaving Anne both exhilarated and cautious about what lay ahead. Despite the historian's assurances, an unspoken foreboding lingered in the air. Anne watched as the historian concluded his explanation, leaving unsaid the questions spinning in her mind. She could sense it in Alex's thoughtful silence and in the way her husband's brow furrowed as they exchanged silent glances. Even the museum, steeped in history, felt suddenly more daunting, hinting at complexities they'd only just begun to unravel. And Anne felt the chill of the unknown. Alex seemed acutely aware of the artifact's mysterious allure, his youthful curiosity peeking through his otherwise steady demeanor. Anne watched as he studied the historian with an intensity beyond his years, eager to understand the implications. Alex's fascination was undeniable, pulling him deeper into the artifact's orbit. Anne, while proud of his inquisitiveness, couldn't shake an underlying worry that they were embarking on a journey marked with challenges yet to reveal themselves. Over the following days, the museum conducted a series of secretive tests on the artifact, each shrouded in mystery. Anne's heart leapt with every phone call, aware they were inching toward revelations. She respected the museum's caution, understanding the sensitivity of their find. Anne often replayed the historian's words, each test hinting at further layers of intrigue. And yet she wondered how much chaos their involvement could stir in their seemingly normal life. Alex's parents, aware of his growing curiosity, filtered the museum's conclusions carefully, shielding him from the most alarming details. Anne sensed Alex's awareness expanding, his interest virtually insatiable. She knew they walked a fine line between fueling his passion and protecting him from uncertainties. Anne managed this balance delicately, all while grappling with her own doubts and questions, striving to present a front of reassurance while internally acknowledging the storm of unknowns. At home, whispers between Anne and her husband grew more frequent. The strange warmth of the object was never far from their thoughts. They muttered about possible dangers, careful not to alarm Alex. Anne watched him closely, aware that his growing fascination might invite unforeseen trouble. At night, the house felt different. A quiet tension simmered beneath daily routines. Anne could feel the weight of unspoken concerns hanging between them, thick in the air. Alex, ever observant, felt the shift in their family dynamic. Anne noticed him becoming more introspective, aware something greater than themselves had been set in motion. Despite their best efforts to shield him, Alex sensed their involvement in a broader narrative. Anne recalled how his excitement occasionally turned to serious contemplation. He seemed to understand their discovery was no ordinary find, but a key to unlocking untold histories, making them players in an old story. Nights became restless as Anne often found Alex staring out his bedroom window. She imagined him pondering the origins of the artifact, piecing its story together in the dark. Sometimes he would come to her, asking questions she couldn't fully answer. Anne, while worried, admired his relentless quest for knowledge. Together, they'd explore theories until Alex drifted off to sleep. Amid the quiet, Anne lay awake, aware their journey was just starting. Alex showed signs of a deepening connection with the object's unknown past. Anne observed how he seemed propelled by a mix of awe and unease. His curiosity was like a bridge to something larger, evoking something profound, yet elusive. Anne couldn't deny its influence, almost as if history was calling him. She worried about the burden it might place on him, watching as his youthful spirit was both inspired and tempered by invisible forces. News of the artifact didn't stay hidden for long. Whispers seeped through open windows and around neighborhood fences. Anne noticed sideways glances during her errands, hinting at town gossip worked into a frenzy. She overheard snippets of conversations leading to wild theories about their find. The once tranquil existence of their family home buzzed with speculation. Managing the household felt like tiptoeing across thin ice. Stirring anxieties, Anne hadn't anticipated this soon. With theories ripe throughout town, curious onlookers and media began swirling around their home. Anne felt the intrusion acutely, like a shifting tide she couldn't hold back. Camera flashes captured their everyday life, turning private moments public. Conversations at the grocery store became centered around fantastical tales spun from truth and imagination. Each day brought new faces wanting a glimpse, each theory more grandiose than the last. Anne felt strain but knew curiosity was natural. The museum became a hub of activity, struggling to contain misinformation that spread like wildfire. Anne heard updates from the curator, noting the strain in her voice as they worked to direct narratives back to reason. Though they tried quelling rumors, the intrigue grew. Anne sympathized with the museum's efforts. The truth of the artifact's story was theirs alone, yet its mystery drew in everyone. Public eagerness met the challenge of clarity, sparking new interest. Anne's family grappled with newfound attention, balancing daily life amid quiet anxiety. The once private sanctuary of their home felt exposed, their family at the center of swirling intrigue. Anne watched Alex, acutely aware of how the limelight affected him. She tried shielding him from the probing eyes of strangers. Anne felt the distinction between public fascination and their internal tension growing starker, a tightrope walking act that demanded their patience and resilience. Despite the distractions, Anne encouraged Alex to maintain normalcy. He faced the challenge of school with unexpected fame shadowing him. Trying to stay focused amidst whispers of his discovery proved daunting. Anne helped where she could, gently reminding him of everyday tasks. The balance was delicate, blending childhood innocence with newfound responsibilities. She admired Alex's resolve, hoping he could weave through the chaos fate wove around him, keeping his spirit intact. Alex's friends were insatiable, their questions relentless as they sought out details about the artifact. Anne watched him navigate conversations, his brown eyes finding hers across the room when the questions became too much. His companions' imaginations ran wild with elaborate tales, each echoing the mystery they only dimly understood. Anne stepped in at times, deflecting prying questions, understanding their curiosity, yet mindful of Alex's need for occasional respite from their probing interest. The family sat around their dining table, absorbing the museum's findings. Anne felt a chill of awe as she learned the artifact might belong to an advanced yet extinct civilization that once thrived where they lived. The notion that such societies existed where they now called home was astounding. Anne glanced at Alex, who looked fascinated, his curiosity piqued by the story their backyard might hold, hidden beneath layers of time. Artifacts similar to the one Alex found had surfaced across the region, hinting at once flourishing societies now erased from history's pages. Anne listened as the curator explained with excitement, enumerating the discoveries that pieced together tales of these lost cultures. Despite miles apart, they seemed interconnected, sharing advanced knowledge and practices. Anne pondered humanity's forgotten brilliance and felt a twinge of excitement tempered with the respect for lives long extinguished. These revelations pressed upon Anne and her husband heavily, a realization dawning that their find might rewrite history. The museum's experts spoke of the potential to enlighten present understanding with these ancient stories, shifting academic narratives. Anne marveled at the overwhelming responsibility resting on their family's shoulders. Alex, seeing his parents' engrossed expressions, sensed the gravity. Even in youthful innocence, he knew their discovery could redefine present interpretations of human civilization. The museum revealed the object to be integral to lost rituals, a key to forgotten spiritual practices of this invisible culture. Anne's imagination took flight, thinking of traditions observed around this very object, its secrets tightly held. She pictured ancient people, lives woven around rituals meaningfully tied to the artifact. It had accrued layers of significance over millennia. The enormity of preserving such history weighed upon her quietly, sparking both curiosity and dread. Though praised for its historical value, the artifact's implications concerned Anne deeply. The potential stories it held were daunting, and she grappled with an unsettling feeling about their unveiling. She saw the caution mirrored in her husband's eyes. Each reflected a dance between wonder and fear. The timeline they uncovered was vast, reminding Anne of the responsibility not to disturb the sacred essence embedded in their once lost, but now pulsating discovery. Questions lingered about the stories cached with the object for centuries. Anne wondered about the lives that touched it, the hands that revered it, now silent witnesses buried in time. What secrets did it carry, safeguarded beneath their backyard? As much as Anne yearned for answers, a part of her hesitated. Was it their place to give voice to those stories? The weight of these considerations lay heavy, silently threading through her thoughts. An international team of researchers, fascinated by potential new discoveries, requested permission to study their property. Hearing plans unfold, Anne felt a mix of pride and apprehension. Her backyard was drawing scholars with aspirations beyond their quiet suburban lives, seeking untold histories. Anne acknowledged the shared enthusiasm, yet quelled her concerns, questioning what their relentless digging might unearth. They stood at the crossroads of uncovering ancient truths and disrupting resting memories. Alex's dad, after days of deliberation, reluctantly agreed to the excavation request, thinking of broader knowledge gains. Anne hesitated, fearing disturbance of the secrets below their home. She needed reassurance, their guardianship remained respectful. Torn between principle and possibilities, Anne mulled the decision, wary of treading on delicate spirits of time past. Ultimately, she acknowledged the fate historians and truth-seekers would bring. Accepting this path was their unintended role in history. The researchers arrived, their camp buzzing with academic fervor as they scoured the area around the oak tree where secrets laid. Anne watched as they meticulously unraveled the earth, nearing remnants anxiously. She remained hopeful, yet vigilant, constantly aware of the scrutiny her family was under. What lay beneath was anyone's guess, but the promise of potential discoveries mingled with unrest as ancestral grounds opened secrets long kept under the soil. Their exploration unveiled unexpected finds. Stone carvings and ancient tools emerged, tantalizing glimpses of the past sparking excitement among the team. Anne looked on, amazed at the fragments joining to frame a narrative extending beyond imagination. Each piece was a testament to human endeavors historically lost. Anne met Alex's eyes, sharing an unspoken acknowledgement of the tales their land was revealing. Together, they lingered on the adventure into unearthing and understanding civilization's distant whispers. Each new discovery added another layer to the complexity of the artifact's narrative. Anne's heart pulsed with both pride and anxiety as the fragments found in their backyard painted vivid pictures of a world long gone. She could see the curiosity light up in Alex's eyes, while her husband dealt with each new revelation thoughtfully. Together, their family stood on the brink of history redefined, with every discovery weaving a deeper story. As academic fervor soared around their backyard, Anne's nervous anticipation intensified. The researchers, driven by an insatiable quest for knowledge, mirrored the excitement crowding her heart. She felt both invigorated and overwhelmed by the buzz of potential findings. Alex seemed caught between wonder and worry, soaking in knowledge that outstripped his years. Anne couldn't help but wonder about the long-term impact of all this attention on their everyday lives. Inspired by the historical unearthing in their backyard, Alex delved into learning about the lost civilization with growing intensity. Anne observed him spending hours buried in books and online resources, his enthusiasm unhindered by the scale of what he was undertaking. She watched as he absorbed tales of ancient times, seeking to understand and connect the dots. Alex's drive was unyielding, drawing him into the depths of an era long forgotten. Driven by curiosity, Alex researched extensively, meticulously piecing together truths about the ancient culture hidden beneath their feet. Anne marveled at his dedication, noticing the way he compared archaeological findings with newfound knowledge eagerly. The library became a second home, where he vanished for hours, absorbed by languages and rituals that shaped a society once thriving. Alex's quest for understanding propelled him further into an intellectual endeavor beyond simple adolescent curiosity. Alex's connection to the artifact grew intense, as if it called to him, urging the boy to share its untold stories. Anne noticed a change in him. He seemed more focused, almost compelled to speak on behalf of a forgotten time. His eyes sparkled with a determination that propelled him beyond mere academic interest. For Anne, seeing this transformation kindled both admiration for his commitment and concern for what lay ahead. The museum's updates indicated the object could potentially unlock new chapters of human cultural evolution. Anne received these pieces of news with a mix of wonder and apprehension. She knew the artifact held secrets, promising knowledge of monumental consequence, enough to transform historical understanding. The prospect was thrilling, yet unsettling. Anne felt the pressure mounting, aware of the immense responsibility resting on their family's shoulders, not just to protect, but to learn from it. Watching Alex's growing commitment, Anne felt her emotions oscillate between pride and fear. She admired his enthusiasm and depth of understanding, watching as he embraced the learning curve with open arms. Yet, her parental instincts couldn't shake the anxiety of unexplored elements surrounding their discovery. She balanced the fine line of encouragement and caution, hoping to nurture his passion responsibly, while safeguarding him against the unknown intricacies of the historic narrative unraveling. Although they discovered much, unexplored elements of the artifact's history remained shrouded in ambiguity. Anne saw how these mysteries kept Alex's focus alight with determined curiosity. He seemed driven by a quest to shine light on the shadows that surrounded the ancient object's story. Anne marveled at his unrelenting spirit, aware of the deep hunger in his pursuit of understanding. Each unanswered question igniting his resolve to continue the search. One evening, as twilight fell over the neighborhood, Alex's father received an urgent call from the museum. Anne listened intently, sensing the significance in the curator's voice. The message was brief, yet filled with promise of major news. Anne felt a chill of anticipation spread through the room, her husband's reaction underscoring the importance of what they'd learn next. All eyes, especially Alex's, were alive with expectation and unanswered curiosity. On the line, the curator's voice carried urgency and restraint, each word hinting at profound developments. Anne imagined possibilities yet to unfold, caught between excitement and worry. Whether good or bad, the news held the potential for change. In that moment, Anne realized the time they spent pondering the artifact's secrets had culminated in a revelation. As they prepared to visit the museum, the air held unspoken promises of discoveries imminent. Under a quiet hush, the family drove towards the museum. Anne noticed how their small car felt charged with anticipation. Alex gazed out the window, his thoughts likely racing with the possibilities that awaited them. Anne's husband remained focused, hands firm on the wheel, indicating the gravity of the trip. The road ahead seemed to stretch infinitely with promises of answers, each mile bringing them closer to confronting the unknown revelations at the museum. At the museum entrance, the family was greeted with an uncharacteristic solemnity. Anne felt her heart skip a beat as they were ushered inside, the atmosphere heavy with unspoken truths. She exchanged glances with her husband, acknowledging the urgency in the curator's demeanor. This was no ordinary visit. The staff's seriousness signaled news of undeniable significance. Alex clutched Anne's hand, sensing the moment's weight, as they prepared to delve into untold histories. Their footsteps reverberated quietly through the museum's corridors, each step echoing the rising anticipation. Anne felt the tension crescendo with every turn, her pulse quickening. Alex, walking slightly ahead, seemed almost pulled forward by unseen threads of curiosity. Her husband was silent, yet his determined stride mirrored their shared expectancy. The journey to the historian's room stretched endlessly, a drum roll amplifying the significance of the promised revelations, and Anne felt enveloped by an electric hush. Entering the confidential archive room, the family faced the senior historian across a table cluttered with ancient texts. Anne saw the intensity in his eyes, silently confirming the gravitas of what they were about to learn. The historian's presence was commanding, filling the room with both authority and intrigue. Anne felt a mix of apprehension and curiosity as she met his gaze, aware that the family's unexpected journey with the artifact was about to deepen. As the historian began, his words revealed that the artifact's metallurgy overwhelmed contemporary techniques. Anne listened intently, astonished by this revelation. Her husband leaned slightly forward, absorbing the implications. Alex's eyes were wide with awe. The historian explained how the craftsmanship suggested an advanced knowledge, setting it apart in history. Anne could feel the room's temperature shift as the weight of their discovery, that it embodied a nearly forgotten past, sank in, leaving them in contemplation. The historian continued, detailing how the symbols on the artifact had been decoded to capture philosophical concepts from a forgotten civilization. Anne marveled at their translation, each symbol painting an intricate tapestry of ideas. Her husband followed closely, deciphering the implications in silent thought. Alex's curiosity piqued, eager to immerse in this newfound knowledge. Anne recognized how these symbols, through their intricate design, breathed life into ancient wisdom long buried in obscurity, enlightening them about humanity's past. Rituals connected to the artifact pointed to celestial events that commanded ancient reverence. Anne absorbed the historian's depiction of these ceremonies, each one mysterious and powerful. She saw how her husband's eyes widened at the thought of such a cosmic connection. Alex appeared enthralled, whispering questions as he tried to assimilate these revelations. Anne sensed the profound network of sacred power the object alluded to, spanning across time and space from their garden to the stars. The historian described the artifact as a crucial key to understanding an ancient world order. Anne felt the enormity of this assertion, envisioning how the object linked various sacred sites. Her husband nodded thoughtfully, comprehending the artifact's role in connecting disparate elements of an ancient culture. Alex seemed energized by the prospect, his mind surely racing with possibilities. Anne understood how their accidental find could serve as a bridge to centuries-old narratives, once deemed fantastical. As the historian spoke, Anne realized the artifact signified a link to myths long considered mere legends. Her husband seemed struck by the confirmation that such tales were rooted in truth. Alex's excitement was palpable. A treasure of stories lay within reach, challenging what they thought they knew. Anne pondered how this object, once hidden beneath a tree, now breathed life into age-old lore, proving that ancient histories were not lost, only waiting to be uncovered. The artifact's scope and influence unfolded with every word from the historian. Anne felt overwhelmed by its historical depth, wondering how such profound truths remained hidden for so long. Alex vibrated with the excitement beside her, while her husband absorbed the information. Anne grasped how their discovery had far-reaching impacts that exceeded initial expectations, promising greater insight into a civilization's role in shaping human history. placing their family at the center of its remarkable revelation. The historian's voice carried an undeniable weight as he confirmed what Anne and her family had suspected. The artifact originated from a civilization over 3,000 years old. Anne exchanged knowing looks with her husband, grounding in the realization of their part in history. Alex listened, eyes wide, absorbing the magnitude of their connection to such an iconic past. This was more than a find. It was a tie to humanity's pioneering roots. The historian described this civilization as adept in metallurgy and rituals, skills that left an indelible mark on time. Anne marveled at their advanced craftsmanship, far beyond what she'd imagined existed so long ago. She could feel Alex's enthusiasm grow, his mind likely buzzing with questions about these ancient masters. The historian's words painted a vivid picture of a society whose knowledge transcended ages, etching its prowess into their now disrupted suburban life. The historian explained the artifact's warmth, mentioning a sophisticated bronze alloy that retained heat, a secret of their metallurgy. Anne felt a chill of wonder as she grasped the depth of their expertise. Her husband seemed to weigh this knowledge, contemplating its implications. Alex chimed in with curious musings, intrigued by the scientific finesse from an era so distant. In that moment, Anne recognized that this discovery forged an astonishing bridge between worlds separated by millennia. The historian's explanation pointed to symbols on the artifact narrating long-lost religious practices. Anne soaked up the description, imagining the once vibrant language now merely imprints on metal. She noticed her husband's interest peaked, quietly reflecting on these cultural echoes. Alex listened intently, fascinated by the idea of a forgotten tongue. With each explanation, Anne felt their connection to this world strengthen, as symbols began weaving a tangible link between past civilizations and today. The family contemplated the enormity of their discovery, feeling its weight settle around them like a living tapestry of history. Anne sensed there was more at play, a bridge connecting bygone eras to their present. She glanced at Alex, whose mind seemed to spin with the gravity of their find. Even without full understanding, the historical implications of the artifact's revelation loomed large, intertwining their suburban lives with a legacy long forgotten, awaiting rediscovery. Standing firm beneath its branches, the oak tree seemed almost like a sentinel, holding secrets torn from time, sheltering the artifact's resting place. Anne wandered in thought, appreciating how this ancient tree bridged their lives together with its whispering presence of untold stories. Her husband touched the bark thoughtfully, and Alex gazed upwards, newly aware of the lineage hidden beneath roots so weathered. Together, they acknowledged how their backyard held timeless echoes, patiently waiting. Understanding dawned as Alex's family embraced the reality of belonging to this ancient tale. Anne felt her own connection deepen, her perspective broadening with each new piece of insight. Alex seemed conversely thrilled and awestruck, realizing their backyard was a living link to history's quiet pulse. Her husband, ever pragmatic, recognized their role in facilitating this bridge and knew they would have to balance this newfound importance with their typical daily lives, a responsibility recognized. Their backyard no longer remained merely a garden, but transformed into a capsule of human achievement, inviting mystery into their lives. Anne felt nature's hand in shaping the narrative they were piecing together, and Alex, whose interest seemed endlessly captivated, stood awash in imagination. Her husband, methodically pragmatic, mentally mapped next steps. Anne understood their place would forever be a passage woven with tales of people who once thrived, a vault of long-lost civilization. Historians and archaeologists alike buzzed with eager dedication, working together to unravel more layers of hidden stories. Anne watched as academia descended on their home, determined to unlock the secrets well beneath their feet. Alex, ensconced among his own studies, became part of this network, the curiosity of countless minds fueling his own. Anne observed how this collective effort bridged past and present, each discovery forging connections with ancient practices, cementing their backyard's place in history. Forever changed, Alex gazed at the oak tree with newfound respect. To him, it signified a gateway, a tangible link to a long-expired civilization, whispering stories through its roots. Anne recognized how the experience deepened his understanding of history beyond textbooks. Her husband, perceptive and steady, acknowledged this shift in their son. As they stood under the ancient sentinel, Anne knew their lives were touched by something transcendent, a beacon inspiring curiosity in all of them.